What if the one thing holding you back from your future is your past?
Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with every regret, every mistake, every what if. It weighs you down, clouds your vision, and makes every step forward feel like a struggle. Today, we're going to talk about someone who knew this burden all too well. Someone trapped in a prison of their own memories, a prison that stole their joy and blocked their path to progress. This is a story about breaking free, about finding hope, and about discovering that the future can be unbelievably bright, but only when you learn to live fully in the present. Our story begins in the mind of our protagonist, a mind that was like a thick, heavy fog. It wasn't just a bad day or a passing mood. It was a constant state of being. Every morning they would wake up and feel like they were walking through a dense, dark forest. The trees were their past mistakes, and the shadows were whispers of regret, constantly reminding them of failures and lost chances. Do you know that feeling? When a memory just replays in your head on a loop? For them, it was an endless film reel. Each scene was a sharp sting, a painful reminder of something they wished they had done differently. It made moving forward feel completely impossible. The weight of what could have been was a physical pressure on their shoulders, draining their energy, their optimism, their hope. Even the simplest joys, like a sunny day or a good cup of coffee, were overshadowed by this constant replay of past errors. The future wasn't something to look forward to. It felt like a distant, unreachable dream, something for other people. Their friends and family would offer advice. Things like, just let it go, or you need to move on. But how do you just let go of something that feels like a part of you? They were trapped in a cycle of self-blame and hesitation. Every new opportunity was met with the fear of repeating old mistakes. This emotional struggle, this feeling of being anchored to yesterday, is something so many of us face. It's a silent battle fought in the quiet moments of the day, and that's what makes this journey toward freedom so powerful and so relatable. One day, completely overwhelmed by the weight of it all, our protagonist had a chance encounter. They met a wise mentor, someone who seemed to see right through the mask of regret they wore every day. This mentor didn't offer the usual empty comforts or tell them to just think positive. Instead, they looked them straight in the eye and challenged their attachment to what had already happened. The mentor said something so simple, yet so profound: you cannot change the past, but you can choose how it shapes your future. Think about that for a second. It wasn't about erasing the past or pretending it didn't happen. It was about choice. In that moment, something shifted. A tiny flicker of hope sparked in the darkness. It was the first time our protagonist realized that freedom wasn't about forgetting. It was about learning to live fully, right here, in the present moment. They understood that the past could be a lesson, not a life sentence. This single conversation, this simple truth, marked the beginning of a hopeful, transformative journey. It was the first step out of the fog and into the light. The path ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in a very long time, it felt possible. Determined to change, our protagonist began the incredibly difficult process of letting go. This wasn't a one-time decision, it was a daily battle. It was a constant war between the old, comfortable habit of dwelling on regrets and this new, fragile desire to live in the present. Memories are sneaky things, aren't they? They would surface unexpectedly, a song on the radio, a familiar scent, a random thought, and instantly pull them back into that familiar pool of guilt and sorrow. Their mind resisted the change. It clung to the familiar pain, almost as if that pain had become a part of their identity. Who would they be without their regrets? But the mentor's words echoed in their thoughts. You can choose how it shapes your future, so they started to practice. They practiced mindfulness, learning to simply notice their thoughts and feelings without judgment. When a painful memory arose, instead of getting swept away by it, they learned to say, I see you. I acknowledge you, and then gently guide their focus back to the present. They practiced self-compassion, forgiving themselves for past mistakes as they would forgive a friend. They started focusing on small, present-moment actions, feeling the warmth of the sun on their skin, truly tasting their food, taking a deep breath and just feeling the air fill their lungs. They set small, daily intentions like Today I will notice 3 beautiful things, or today I will be kind to myself. Progress was slow. It was often frustrating. There were days they felt like they were taking 2 steps back for every step forward. But each tiny moment of awareness, each time they chose the present over the past, it brought a little more peace. It was like slowly, patiently clearing away the fog. Over time, that heavy blanket of the past began to lift, and in its place, clarity and acceptance started to grow. They were beginning to understand that living fully in the present wasn't about erasing the past, but about embracing life as it unfolds, right here, right now, free from the heavy chains of yesterday. After weeks of this struggle, this patient practice of choosing the present, something incredible happened. Our protagonist experienced a profound breakthrough. It wasn't a sudden explosion of light, but more like the slow, beautiful dawn of a new day. The heavy burden of past regrets, the one that had clouded every thought and paralyzed every decision, began to dissolve. It lost its power. Think about the before. Their life was dominated by sorrow and hesitation. They were completely trapped in a cycle of if only and what could have been. The past was a prison, holding them back from joy, from connection, from progress. Now, compare that to the after. Our protagonist was starting to embrace a new reality, a new truth. That true freedom and real happiness do come from wishing for a different past, but from living fully in the present moment. They finally understood on a deep soul level that while the past shapes us, it does not have to define us. The contrast was striking. Where there was once darkness and regret, there was now light and acceptance. This powerful insight completely transformed their mindset. It allowed them to finally move forward, not with a heavy heart, but with a sense of peace and a renewed purpose. The lesson was crystal clear. Letting go of the past isn't about forgetting it. It's about choosing to live unchained, fully engaged in the here and now. This shift, this simple but profound change in perspective, opened the door to a life of fulfillment, a life of endless possibility. With this new, present-focused mindset, our protagonist's entire life began to transform in beautiful and unexpected ways. The constant noise of regret in their head quieted down, replaced by a gentle sense of peace. They started finding joy in the everyday moments they used to ignore: the taste of their morning tea, the sound of rain against the window, a genuine smile from a stranger. Without the weight of past mistakes holding them back, they found a new confidence to pursue goals and dreams they had long since abandoned. They started that project, they took that class, they reconnected with old friends. Their relationships deepened because they were finally able to be fully present with the people they loved. Listening without the distraction of their own inner turmoil, their entire outlook on life brightened. This story shows us something so important. True happiness isn't found in rewriting the past, but in embracing the now. The power to change your life is right here, in this very moment. If this message resonated with you, if you've ever felt the weight of your own past holding you back, I want you to know that you're not alone and change is possible. Take the first step today. It might be as simple as taking one deep, mindful breath. If this story inspired you, please show some love by hitting that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. And I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with one small thing you're going to do to be more present this week. Let's inspire each other. And do not forget to subscribe for more powerful stories to help you live a life that is full, free, and completely present. Thank you for watching.